Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to another Rock Band Land video premiere. Today, dear friends, we will be debuting 2 videos. That's right, 2. If you want more videos, you know where to find it. Down in the YouTube hole. Dive in, dive in, dive in. There's no way out! Well, unless you turn your computer off. But we're going to start off with a video. It's very important topic for all of us to consider these days. Days up, days up, days up, days up. Uh, 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 Piece of pizza. Among pizza. Take it away.
Should I go? You ready? Am I on? Should we go? Welcome, fellow ingredients of all shapes, sizes, textures, and tastes. I am coming to you live from inside Pizza Parlor Plaza, where the United Ingredients Commission will meet one final time to take action on the Intergalactic Topping Treaty. As you know, the ITT has been the subject of many awkward dinner parties and contentious family get-togethers, ostracizing all ingredients from as far as the Barada Borealis to the depths of the Velveeta vacuum. Today, the UIC will be declaring whether we move forward with the proposed combination pizza project or remain singular toppings. As outlined in the UIC bylines, we will begin with the representative most likely to go rotten the soonest. Earl of Eggs, the placement has been set. The table is yours. And toppings, may I remind you, napkins in your laps.
I am the Earl of Egg. I remind you that we, the Egg Planet, contain many different groups, a veritable omelet of people. And yet all our voters, from toast to soldiers, agree. We oppose this treaty. It would crack our sovereignty and shell out our resources. Besides, this deal seems too convenient, almost over easy. And we have it on good authority that the pepperoni prime minister here has perpetrated a scam and poached our economy. We've been hard-boiled by war and lack of hot sauce. This will not stand. We're against this treaty until we are eaten or the frying pan goes cold, whichever comes third. You maybe think we're being cheesy eggs or that we have been deviled and corrupted. This is not true. I am warning you. We have weapons of mass annoyance, aka the dreaded rotten eggs. These weapons of sticular destruction are so powerful you might find your nose fried. If you sign this treaty, relations between us may never turn sunny side up.
Thank you, Earl of Eggs. Admiral of Olives, you may present your pit.
I, Admiral of Olives, on behalf of the Olive Planet, extend our branch in declaration that we support the Intergalactic Topping Treaty. You don't have to ask all of us twice. All we want is to be at peace, and this is the perfect opportunity. It sours our stones to know that there is so much distaste between toppings in the universe. There is no need to be salty anymore. Our relations have been stuffed to the pit with pimentos of animosity for too long. If you oil agree to join with us, even you Earl of Egg, we know what you're up to. We can soak in the brine of peace together. Olive doing this, as always, so thank you, and I cannot wait until we all join together as one pizza.
Very ripe, Admiral. Princess Parmesan, the curd has risen. Let's remember to be mature.
When I first came to Cheese Country, it was a curdled place, covered in holes. Mount Camembert had fallen into the Nacho Sea, and the rinds of its cities had crumbled to dust. Now we are thriving. We are the richest in the land, boasting the sharpest leaders within Cheddar Capital. You other toppings had taken us for granted for far too long. Even you, Sultan of Sauce. I know a Gouda deal when I see one, but this one stinks. So I, Princess of Parmesan, will not be signing the Intergalactic Topping Treaty. We won't have anything to do with your charcuterie of lies.
Princess Parmesan, you have made your case in. Sultan of Sauce, let's try to keep it in the bowl.
I, Sultan of Sauce, ruler of the Saucy Nebula, hereby agree to the terms of the Intergalactic Topping Treaty for the following reasons. Number 1. For too long, we have relied on a canned mentality. It is now time to rise up. We must blend into one to develop a more emulsified society. Don't believe the lies that were spilled over my nation, staining not just my reputation, but all of ours. Number 2. My distributors are sauced, and I've canned most of my advisors due to separation amongst the medley of staff. Many are too Alfredo to leave, and half have left for the hollandaise. The time is now to congeal our efforts. Let's not limit ourselves by waiting for that puritanical pepperoni prime minister to catch up with our progressive ways. Number 3, we must defend our near-perfect pizza from the putrid pineapple scum. Pizza after pizza has been tainted as a result of the deceptive sweet talk. We have simmered for too long on this issue. Together, we shall let it rise like a boiling tide and blow the lid off this crockpot.
Sultan of Sauce, thank you for keeping it clean. Pepperoni Prime Minister, it is now your turn, and please keep in mind, now is not the time to mincemeat your words.
Dear fellow toppings, I, the Pepperoni Prime Minister, believe this truce is essential to the future of possible topping combinations. Once in place, we will all walk with a pep in our step, a pepperoni pep. This truce will allow us to give pizza a chance to rise up against pineapple intolerance and all picked off toppings. The Sultan was wrong. We have it wrong. We call ourselves meat lovers and cheese lovers, but we fail to spread that love. Signing this treaty will be a reflection of our commitment to a more combined galaxy. Those who oppose this treaty should have egg on their faces. I'm looking at you, Earl. You over-fried bag of yolk!
Mayor of Mushroom, feel free to work your magic. No cap.
Okay, so I'm a fun guy, right? Well, anyway, as the mayor of Mushroom City, I asked the fungus among us to vote on this here treaty. The problem is, for every stem, there's a cap, and that's kind of how the votes were spread, much like people's opinions of mushrooms. Some love us, some hate us. But if you ask me, anyone who doesn't sign this treaty, well, they're pretty low to the ground, if you know what I mean. Now, I don't get truffled easy, nor do I want to make too big a stinkhorn about this. This treaty will look pretty good for our nation's community record. Well, sorry if this little speech took up too much room to say nothing, but that's where the spores fall.
Is anyone really falling for this? Mayor Mushroom just wants to protect her mishandlings and her legal troubles. This is what I'm talking about. If this treaty passes, we are going to have topping like this dingus using it for their own personal gain. It will be a red-cap melee.
I hear what you're saying, Earl, but let's look at the bigger picture here. The mayor is just one topping, and no offense, but one that is often picked off. There is more good that will come out of this treaty. Mayor Mushroom will have to deal with her own karmic repercussions.
I have to say, the Earl makes a good point here. How low are we willing to go for this treaty? Some of us have worked very hard to get where we are, and now we're just gonna let some second-rate topping tell us, more dignified accoutrement, how we should be interacting? I don't think so.
I can't believe what I'm hearing. It's astonishing the level of volatility you all have towards one another. I had my doubts going into this, but I can see it clear as day now. There is only one true topping. The people have spoken. Pepperoni reigns supreme. Consider this my official denouncement of this treaty.
You see what you did, Earl?
I knew this was coming, you coward!
This is exactly what I was talking about. We'll see who reigns supreme.
Please, let us try to work this out.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. I didn't mean to make a mockery of your treaty here, or burn anyone's buns. Maybe we should just go ahead and table this. Let the cookies cool and revisit this another time.
This isn't finished. Some of us still need help here.
It will never be finished!
Not with that rotten attitude.
I'll show you rotten! Fire the weapons of stinkular destruction!
No, wait, all of us can solve this. Sharpen the microplane. Prepare for contact.
Raise the salt shield to me.
Fire the pepperoni plasmerizers!
I feel better. Do you? Now that you know all that? It's like I got an education. I didn't even. Oh, wait. We have another video. Another video that's of concerning nature, yes. Oh, no. Good creatures sometimes do bad things. That happens to all the best of us, most of us, sometime in our life. And dear friends, I hope what happens to this character, Tom Emma Blueby, never, ever, ever, never, ever, never, never, ever, ever, never, ever, 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 never, ever, never happens to you. Tom Emma Blueby, the tragic undoing of an otherwise decent monkey.
Chapter 1.
It was Taco Night Party Night, Tom Emma Blueby's favorite night of the month. For years, he'd thrown the best Taco Night Party Nights of all the Taco Night Party Nights ever thrown, and he had everything ready. The meat was seasoned, the salsa was spicy, the tortilla chips were crisp and salty, and the toppings, onions, cilantro, sour cream, cheese, and sliced limes were ready to go. All that was left to make was Tom Emma's famous guacamole, which he always saved for last. When he went to the grocery store and discovered that there were no avocados to be had, Tom Emma's otherwise happy life took a dark turn.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Monkey Man. The Cardo plague has affected every passive Cardo from here to Dudu on my Shoeistan. They all turn blue, I say. Blue as the sky on a clear summer day. Believe me, the choice I had to make was one I hated. I'm sorry to say they've all been incinerated.
Oh no, I'm ruined! I'm done! It's over! I might as well jump from the cliffs of clover! I can't serve tacos without my guac! Why, that's like wearing a shoe without a sock! Yes, it is exactly as bad as I think! Trust me, this is going to stink!
Tom Emma left the store crying, wailing, sobbing sad monkey tears. Taco Night Party Night was ruined. His life was over. Nothing could console him. But then, on a park bench, a lone avocado that had somehow been spared the plague that the grocery store clerk had mentioned was just sitting there, free for the taking. It looked perfectly fine to Tom Emma. He wiped his tears, blew his nose, and laughed a laugh that could only be described as a mediocre maniacal laugh. Before taking the avocado home and making his guacamole as he always did, with the sound of Halloween screams cranked full blast in his headphones. Thanks to that one avocado and the guacamole that it became, that particular taco night party night became the best taco night party night in the long history of taco night party nights. Everyone raved about Tom Emma's guacamole.
Guacamole? You mean guacaholy moly? It's delicious.
Oh my gosh, Tommy, this guac is like wow. It's like drinking a baby and angel wing smoothie.
Tom, I simply must have this recipe. Your guac goes with everything, even cake, and I shouldn't have cake, but I'm going to. I'm going to have a whole cake just because of your guacamole.
The next morning, the police were at Tom Emma's door, and the monkey was arrested for murder. In court, he pleaded with the judge.
Your Honor, I swear by my eyes that to all of my seeing, I had no way of knowing that Cado was a sentient being. It was a simple mix-up, a mistake, a goof. I blundered. I ask you, though, should I be punished because a people Cado slumbered?
The judge's answer was a simple
yes.
The law was clear. One could eat as many passive Cados as they liked, but eating a people Cado, even by mistake, was a serious crime. Tom Emma Blueby was sentenced to life imprisonment.
Chapter 2.
As is the case with so many incarcerated individuals, Tom Emma Blueby went into prison relatively normal, a decent, good monkey. But it was there, while surrounded by true criminals, that he developed a taste for genuine evil. Prison was also where he perfected his maniacal laugh. Tom Emma's cellmate was Elephant, a zebra who had been arrested for not having any stripes, the worst crime imaginable in the zebra community. Elephant shared in Tom Emma's love of guacamole, and together the two would talk, late into the night, about perfectly ripe avocados, and they'd argue about how much cayenne and garlic to use. They both dreamed of getting their hands on some avocados to test their recipes, but Janice, the lunch lady, who also happened to be a people Cado, had nothing but contempt for Tom Emma, the monkey who had eaten one of her kind. She intentionally underserved their plates. She often accidentally dropped their food on the floor before serving them, and she always refused to serve them any passive Cados when they were on the menu. She kept a close eye on Tom Emma whenever he was around. Tom Emma initially had felt bad about inadvertently killing a people Cado for his taco night party night. But after weeks of suffering the wrath of the lunch lady, he swore that one day he would again enjoy people Cado guacamole. In the cafeteria, Tom Emma and Elephant befriended a manatee named Coral, who also happened to be a devil. A horse named Moo, who was sent to prison after shaving off his tail, as well as all the other horse tails in his village.
I just don't like tails, okay?
They also became friends with Gabber, a gentle mole who unintentionally dug herself into prison one day. But try as she might to tell the guards she wasn't actually a criminal, they didn't believe her.
Yeah, sure thing, Toots. You and everyone else in here is innocent. I know. I heard it all before. Now get in your cell.
The five friends decided that together they would escape. The next day was grilled cheese day in the cafeteria, and Janice was busy fending off prisoners who were eager for seconds.
Get back in line! What are you, a bunch of pigs?
Actually, I am a pig. A proud pig right here, right in front of you.
Not you, Carl. I'm talking about the other ones. The ones who aren't pigs, but are acting like pigs.
And how do pigs act exactly?
Well, you know how you race to the front of the line to feed your face, and you just push 30 folks out of the way to get here?
Yep.
Like that.
Well, that clears it up. Thanks, Janice. Can I have extras, please?
When Coral and Moo got to the front of the line, they asked Janice if she'd like to see a trick. Before she could answer, the two began juggling knives. Guards rushed in to stop them, but Janice said,
"It's okay, boys. It's just a little juggling. I I could use some entertainment.
The guards stayed and watched, and a crowd of prisoners gathered. While everyone was distracted, Gabber dug a hole in the cafeteria floor, and she, Tom, Emma, and Elephant made their way to freedom. When Coral noticed their friends had gone, he shouted, "Now!" to Moo, and they both threw their knives in the air and ran. The knives landed in Janice's exocarp, and she fell to the ground screaming.
My exocarp!
While the guards rushed to her aid, Moo and Coral followed after their friends down Gabber's hole, and Coral made sure to cover the hole with grilled cheese so no one would ever discover how they'd escaped.
We interrupt this broadcast from a commercial from our sponsors, Definitely Passive Cotto Company. Tired of those boring old people cottos? Introducing
Definitely Passive Cotto. Passive Cottos that taste incredibly delicious and are definitely not people cottos or fake cottos.
Here's the jingle. Hit it, Rex! Definitely Passive Cottos, they are the tastiest cottos. That is the keyboard music sheet. Definitely Passive Cottos, they are the tastiest cottos. I'm running out of ideas, so let's just end this song. Back to you, show.
Chapter 3.
When you're a fugitive on the run, you can either try to blend in, leading a life on the straight and narrow, hiding among the normal, law-abiding citizens, or you can double down on your treacherous ways, stoking them until they become an all-consuming, boiling, bubbly froth. Tom Emma Blueby chose the latter. He and his friends surfaced at an abandoned amusement park, and the corrupted monkey convinced his friends that they should join him in starting a guacamole company. They would make the world's most delicious guacamole, and in turn, become the world's richest guacamole makers.
But there's a cotto plague, and all the passive cottos are sick. What will we make the guac from?
Oh, sweet and innocent little Gabber, you with your impressive incessant jibber-jabber. We shall not need a single passive cotto, for we shall make the greatest guac the world will ever know. So good it will soothe even the meanest bull. Our guac will come not from passive cottos, but from people.
People cottos? Isn't that illegal?
I don't know. Is it?
It was decided that their guac business would be called the Definitely Passive Cotto Company. Tom Emma was the boss and the designer of all the evil ways to catch and kill the people cottos. Elephant was to be Tom Emma's trusty right-hand zebra, as well as official avocado stomper and guacamole taste tester. Moo and Coral were the henchmen. They were the ones who would have to catch and kill the people cottos. They would also be responsible for delivering the finished product to the stores. Moo was reluctant to join, but when Tom Emma told him that he could stop whenever he wanted to shave tails off any horses he saw, he was in. Gabber didn't want anything to do with harming people cottos, or any creature for that matter. So Tom Emma promised her that she'd never, ever, 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 ever have to harm a people cotto. She just needed to dig tunnels for Moo and Coral to move about unnoticed, and she'd be paid handsomely for her services. The Definitely Passive Cotto Company was a huge success. No one had ever tasted such scrumptious guacamole.
Sweetheart, when I die, I want to be buried in Definitely Passive Cotto Company guacamole.
Wow, this stuff is so good. It's like eating fresh teddy bear hearts.
Cilantro, you didn't. Oh, this guacamole makes me want to eat cake, but not just any kind of cake. I want a 7-layer cake with strawberries in between each layer and extra frosting and fondant, and I want the whole thing to be shaped like a walrus.
Folks were happy to pay top dollar for such a yummy treat, but the company itself was a perplexing mystery. No one knew where they were based, who ran it, or how they managed to make such delicious guacamole amid a full-blown cotto plague. All they knew was in the middle of the night, boxes of guac would appear outside of grocery stores, as if by magic. For 2 years, Tom, Emma, and crew were sitting pretty. Money was rolling in just as fast as dead people cottos. But as time went on, Gabber had to dig farther and farther away so that Moo and Coral could find people cottos to cotto nap. They began to get tired, and they began to get sloppy.
Chapter 4.
Fear was rampant within the people cotto community, Everyone knew someone who had gone missing without a trace, and the police were stymied as all leads led to nowhere. People Kados began disguising themselves as rocks and turtles to hopefully be spared whatever horrors awaited their kind. Many went into hiding, and some of the most desperate and frightened People Kados committed crimes just so they could be safe in jail. One night, Moo and Coral had just captured an unsuspecting People Kado. On their way back to the tunnel that Gabber had dug, Coral carried the unconscious Kado in his Kado knapsack, and Moo spotted a team of horses munching apples in an apple tree. As they sat, chomping away on the low limbs with their tails dangling down, just begging to be cut off, Moo turned to his partner in crime and said,
"I'll be right back."
There was no way that Moo could have known that these particular horses were police horses, and as he went about snipping tails, he was spotted. The horses jumped out of the tree, arrested Moo, and easily ran down his manatee devil friend. They were both arrested for Kado napping, and Moo was charged with an additional 13 counts of aggravated tail snipping. With their two hard-working henchmen back in the slammer, Tom, Emma, and Elephant had to pick up the slack and added Kado napping to their other responsibilities. But they proved to be mediocre Kado nappers. They were unable to find any People Kados, let alone capture and kill them, and they became desperate to keep the company going and the money coming in. Tom, Emma found several cases of passive Kados. Knowing that passive Kados were inferior to the living, breathing People Kados, he and Elephant tried their best to emulate the great work of Dr. Frankenstein to bring the Kados to life so that they could kill them. When the moment of truth came, Tom Emma inserted the electrodes into the Kados and let out a long, maniacal laugh as he signaled Elephant to throw the switch that would fill the Kados with the pulsating shock of electric liberation. Unfortunately, the experiment just ended with a yucky blue mess around the walls of Tom Emma's office in the abandoned amusement park. With no other ideas, they decided to check in on their loyal little mole. After all, Gabber had blazed a path for all of Moo's and Coral's missions, and maybe she had some idea where to find some People Kado.
And now another word from one of our sponsors.
Join the Mole Council. Moles are only allowed, but you'll get $10 per day if you join. They throw taco parties, disco parties, and even sometimes help designers design mole clothes. Have fun if you join the Mole Council.
If you're a mole and you're feeling low, join your local Mole Council.
Chapter 5.
Gabber lived deep underground, as most moles do, and it took quite a while for Tom, Emma, and Elephant to find her home. There was a light on up ahead, and they could hear voices which they assumed must have been coming from Gabber's television. Elephant was in front and called out, "Knock, knock!" and the voices went silent. When they turned the dirt corner, Tom, Emma, and Elephant peered into Gabber's home and saw her sitting around the dining room table with her family. A family her bosses had no idea she had. Were they other moles, or any other animal for that matter, Tom, Emma, and Elephant would have been embarrassed and apologized for the unannounced intrusion. But seated around the table with Gabber was a female People Kado and two kids that were clearly half mole and half People Kado, and therefore could only be known as guacamoles. The guac boss and his sidekick were stunned.
Oh, little mole in your little hole, what dark secrets you keep. All this time of your family you have peeped not a peep. Alas, this must be your last supper, you see, because that Lady Kado must come with Elephant and me. Need I remind you there's work to do and a business to run? Excuse me now as we end this family fun.
When Gabber realized the fate that her bosses had in mind for her beloved family, the normally docile little mole snapped. She sprung from the table like a ninja from a circus cannon, and her digging claws were instantly transformed into face-shredding claws. Being a nimble monkey, Tom Emma jumped up to the ceiling and was swinging from exposed roots to escape the mole's fury. Elephant wasn't so lucky. He reared up and tried to kick the mole, but Gabber was too fast. She launched in the air and ripped off both of the zebra's eyebrows. Elephant was shocked and in pain, and he opened his mouth to scream, But instead of a scream, his black zebra stripes came flying out of his mouth and wrapped around Gabber like a pit of hungry boa constrictors and held her immobilized on the floor.
So that's where they were hiding. I told the other zebras I had stripes. I just didn't know where they were. I didn't need to go to jail.
Do not touch my wife and kids! Righty-ho, time to stand and take a stroll. Up on your feet, young lady and younger guacamoles. Say ta-ta to your mama, for this is sayonara. Off we go to make the guac for tomorrow.
Leave them alone, you monster! And by the way, you can't rhyme a Japanese goodbye with tomorrow! It just doesn't work!
Oh, really? Doesn't it? How about this, then? Say ta-ta to your mama, for this is au revoir. Off we go to make the guac to go with salsa.
That's not very good either!
Well, it'll have to do.
Chapter 6.
Back at the amusement park, Tom Emma was eager to make another batch of guac, and he was especially eager to find out how Gabber's kids might taste. He knew that people Kados made delicious guac, but guacamole just had to be incredible. He decided that Gabber's wife, whose name was Lucy, and her kids, Porchcombe and Ricardo, would meet a special fate via a new device he'd been working on. It consisted of a party hat, which, once put on someone's head, would stab them from the inside with knives covered in poison-dipped confetti. As Elephant was busy fashioning bits of cotton candy over where his eyebrows used to be, Tom Emma double-checked to see if there was enough poison-dipped confetti in the hat. Gabber's wife pleaded for the evil monkey to leave her kids alone, but he ignored her as he approached one of the two sobbing guacamoles. Just as he was about to place the hat on the first child's head, the door to his office burst open and in ran a team of tailless police horses, followed by a slow-moving, overweight house cat cop.
Drop that hat, monkey. If you make me move faster than I want, I promise you this won't end well for you. Get 'em, boys!
As the horses tromped in to arrest the villains, Gabber popped through the floor and ran to Lucy and her kids to shower them with hugs and kisses. She had managed to free herself from Elephant's zebra stripes and dug her way straight to the police, where she spilled the beans like a coffee maker in an earthquake. The definitely passive Kado Company was immediately shut down, and Tom, Emma, Blueby, and Elephant were arrested and eventually sent to a high-security prison in the tropics that was designed specifically to house maniacal food criminals. It was there that they developed a taste for the milk of sentient coconuts, Coco Sapiens, and began plotting their escape as well as their next big business idea.
As the sun sets behind the trees of palm, we shall interrupt this beach so cold. We'll shake the trees and rattle the Coco Sapiens and go sea to sea until we reach the Caribbean. With each brown nut we catch and capture, we'll milk them dry and bring on the rapture!
Were it not for that one taco night party night that went awry, who knows what might have become of Tom, Emma, Blueby, an otherwise decent monkey. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Good gracious, those were some fine videos. Thank you, Video Bing Bong artists and Graphic Novel Squad artists, for your amazing work here, now, and forevermore. At Rock Band Land. My name is Ben Bryan. It's Ben Bryan. My name is Ben Bryan. Hi, Benjamin Bryan here. Nice to see you. I can fly. I can't fly. But I hope you guys had a great time in the session. We had a great time with you. We hope you come back. There's another session of Graphic Novel Squad starting tomorrow and Friday. You're welcome to join. Your friends are welcome to join. And wow, it's just gonna be nice. Please stay strong. Rock Band Land.